Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, please lead us from unreality to the reality, from ignorance to the knowledge, and from death to immortality. Om Peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, we are all having one of the interesting topic today, that is self versus self surrender. Now the question may come, which is greater, which is bigger? Some say no, self effort is very important, and some say no, self surrender is very important. Some say, oh well, it is both. Like you need self surrender and you need self effort, so both are greater or both are equal. And sometimes spiritual aspirants get confused, their mind gets boggled. So which is greater, either self effort or self surrender? Many times devotees or aspirants do come and ask us, Swamiji, so whether self effort is greater or better or self surrender? Well, of course, I would like to analyze both the things, and I allow or I ask the devotees and the listeners themselves to decide which is greater or which is bigger, if at all. And this is the ancient question, even in the philosophy, in the classical Indian philosophy, and also in the Western philosophy, the discussions have gone for eons. For centuries, it has been discussed whether self effort is greater or self surrender is greater. So some philosophers have taken the stand that self-effort is the greater. And some philosophers have taken the stand, no, self-surrender is the great. And many times, though it was a discussions, but most of the times or many times, they were not able to take any decisions in fact. But the beauty in that Indian wisdom is they have given the right place for the self surrender and self effort, and they have very clearly told or expressed either if anything is greater, what is greater, and why it is greater. Probably when I was thinking about the self effort versus self surrender myself, and as a gradual evolution of the spiritual aspirant or of the devotion, I would like to classify the different stages of the spiritual aspirant. At the initial, though I will explain all these things, at the initial, the stand should be self effort is greater, or self effort is should be more, and self surrender will be less. Consciously, self effort is more, and self surrender will be less. Then, slowly, when we evolve spiritually, when we are able to control our instincts, when we can develop the highest faculty of mind, intellect, more and more, when we refine our mind, then self effort and self surrender both will be equal. This was the gradual evolution. Then, slowly again, when we evolve, then self effort reduces, self surrender gets increased. We give more importance. Then where? When our ego is ripened, when our when we become completely sattvic to the larger extent, self-effort will be minimal and self-surrender will be total, or it will be more, or it will be complete. So these are the different evolutions which happens in every spiritual aspirant's life. So this we have to understand very clearly. So whether self-effort is greater or self-surrender is greater, it is very difficult to say, because at what state, in which stage we are living, or our mind is there, it depends on that, whether which is greater or which is lesser or which is more, we can say to the some extent. Now we all know that the philosophy and Sri Ramakrishna, And our Upanishads, they say that the goal of the humankind is manifesting the divinity, or experiencing the self, or experiencing the God. Now, how to do it? And what is preventing us? We all know that that is the best goal, but what is preventing us? Who is preventing us? If you ask, it is prevent. Who is preventing? No one is preventing. We are preventing of ourselves. Why? Because our nature, our personality, it constitutes of three characters or three traits. One is tamas, the other is rajas, the third is sattva. Inertia, dullness, procrastination, all such type of qualities represents tamas. We want to work less and we want to earn more. I don't want to struggle, but I want all the fruits of actions, which is against the nature. So this type of thinking, this type of quality, or this type of nature, when whomever it is predominant, they are tamasic natured people. Then some are high active, they're always active, they would like to work, they would like to achieve, they're ambitious, they are rajasic natured people. They're active, sometimes hyperactive also. Some believe in simple living and high thinking. They want to have a serene mind. They like peace. They like composed nature. They always believe in knowledge and they would like to study and they would like to meditate. They would like to live at the level of ideas, at the level of spirit. Such people they are considered as sattvic natured people, or the sattva quality is predominant in them. Now, in every one of us, these three qualities are there in every one of us, in every human being. But which is predominant is only the part which we have to think. In some, there is a tamas is a predominant. In some, rajas is predominant. In some, sattva is predominant. Now, the scriptures, they say that by being more and more active, by becoming more and more active, we should curb our laziness. We should curb our inertia. We should curb our procrastination nature. So, slowly, we are evolving ourselves from tamas to rajas. Then we became, okay, all our actions are backed with the desires. We are doing actions, no doubt, we are performing actions, but it is packed with the desires. We enjoy, we experience, we enjoy, and we suffer. We get profit and we get loss. Sometimes we are happy and sometimes we are unhappy. So, this dual experiences we keep on experiencing, then mind starts thinking. Mind should start thinking, or mind starts thinking, is there any way out? Then the Karma Yoga comes into picture. Let me work and let me not bother about the fruits of action, or let me offer the fruits of action at the feet of the Lord. Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. So, by doing that slowly, from Rajasic nature, we will become Sattvic. Simple living, not show off, and as God centered religion, God centered life, or divine centered life, simplicity, all these things creeps in. So when becomes sattva predominant people. So when we become sattva predominant people, then only the complete surrender is possible. Otherwise, in the below stages, the self surrender completely is not possible. Now, evolving ourselves, training one's own mind, training one's own nature, and controlling one's own mind and nature, and traveling or evolving from tamas to rajas and rajas to sattva, and from sattva going beyond trigunas is what self effort we mean. So that means self effort is indispensable for all of us, whether we like it or whether we don't like it, whether we wish it or we don't wish it. It is indispensable, it is required, most essential factor. We should understand this. Now, when we do more and more japa, we do more and more meditation, we do more and more contemplation, we do more and more reflective thinking. So by increasing these type of practices, which becomes a part and parcel of our life habits, by that one can increase sattva. So when the sattva is predominant, then only sharanagati, self surrender is possible. Now Gita tells very beautifully here. Uddhared atman atmanam, atmanam avasadayet, atmaiva atmano bandhuhu, atmaiva ripuratmanaha. The meaning is, let a man uplift himself by his own self. Why? Because he is the friend of himself and he is the enemy of himself. Or is the friend for himself, is the enemy for himself. We thinking someone is friend, someone XYZ is friend, XYZ is enemy. I was thinking Bhagavad Gita is telling that I am the real friend of myself and I am the real enemy of myself. How it is? How can we understand? The thing is, in the next loka, Krishna clearly tells that one whose mind is under his control, whose mind is under his control, that means he is the real friend of himself or himself. Whose mind is not under control is the real enemy of himself or real enemy for himself. So, self mastery or controlling the mind is very, very required. And to control the mind, we need self effort. Even Sri Ramakrishna also used to tell very clearly. He never used to, though he always used to be in samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi, most of the time he was merged himself with the thinking of Mother Kali, but he never was lethargy. He was never morose, and he never advocated the laziness. Even for example, one young chap had come, and in those days in Dakshineshwar, whoever comes, afternoon or night, free food was given. Irrespective of who are you, they never used to ask, and simply they used to feed the food. So one young chap came from a distant village. He started staying in that. He was a bachelor probably, or he was a married. No, he was a married, and he started staying in Dakshineshwar. And afternoon or night, just he was taking the food from the temple complex, from the temple, and he was just leaving with doing nothing. After a few days, Sri Ramakrishna observed and he said, "This is not right. You are simply taking the food of Dakshineshwar temple, fine, and you are doing nothing and just leaving here and time, killing your time. This is not right thing. You should work. And being a being, how can you stay lazy? You should work. Udyogam Purusha Lakshanam, Sri Ramakrishna says. That means Sri Ramakrishna is asking us to be active. And also Sri Ramakrishna is also emphasizing the necessity of the enterprising nature and the self-effort also. And Sri Ramanuja, one of the greatest philosopher who advocated the qualified monoism, Vishishtadvaita, he beautifully explains regarding this Bhagavad Gita shloka. Uplifting oneself by himself means, what does it mean? That means we are always slave of our desires. We are slave of our mind. We are slave of our sense organs. So there we should control ourselves slowly, slowly. We should reach to the stage of self-mastery. I am supposed to be the master of myself. As I think, the mind is supposed to perform. When I say to my mind, oh mind, don't go there in particular thing, or don't think in such a fashion, my mind was supposed to listen to me because it is my mind, my sense organs, my intellect. But unfortunately, I am supposed to control, but I am unable to control. They are controlling me. However, mind is thinking, I am forced to follow the mind. I am forced to follow the senses. I am forced to follow my thoughts or feelings or emotions. Many times people come, oh Swamiji, my mind is getting boggled. Why? So many thoughts are coming and my mind is disturbed. How can I control thoughts? How can I reduce my thoughts? How can I keep myself calm? And it is your mind. It is you are the person who is supposed to control thoughts, who is supposed to regulate your thoughts. But we were supposed to be master of ourselves, but unfortunately, we are slave of ourselves. So here Ramanuja says that by self-effort, through self-effort, you have to control your mind and you have to become self-mastery. So self-effort is indispensable. And also, through the self-effort, what we are supposed to do? We have to detach ourselves from the lower mind and we have to attach ourselves to the higher mind. This is very, very important for every spiritual aspirant. So is that there is a lower mind and the higher mind? There are two types of mind? No, there's only one mind. So what is then detaching from the lower mind and attaching to the higher mind means? Detaching the lower mind means what? Curbing or controlling the instincts, controlling the unwanted desires, controlling the negative emotions, negative feelings, negative thoughts, or the restlessness of the mind, and thinking high thoughts, thinking pure thoughts, encouraging pure thoughts. And instead of having instinct living, let me have a discriminative living. What is right? What is wrong? Follow the right and leave the wrong. This is what I mean discriminative living. So this is what I mean attaching to the high self. So this has to be practiced. This has to be practiced at every moment of our life. That is what calling conscious life, conscious living, or awakening. What is the difference between the greatest people or great people and the common people? Common people are living the life of unconscious living, and the great people they lived the life of conscious living. Means they were always alert. All the great people they were always alert. What should I do? What should I not do? Why should I do? Why should I not do? When should I do? When should I not do? They were aware of it and they were practicing it. Many times we are not aware, and sometimes we are aware and we are not able to put into practice. So this is what the difference between the, I mean, attaching to the higher mind and attaching to the lower mind, I mean. So only hard work, only the constant, continuous self effort helps in the attainment of goal. Not mere dreams or mere intentions will not help. Of course, dreaming and intentions, all these things help, no doubt, but mere of them it doesn't help. Effort, practice is required. So we have to constantly put the self effort. So that's how we slowly we can unfold our relationships or unfold our personality. We can become better human beings from tamas to rajas and from rajas to sattva. That's what even Sri Ramakrishna also says that. And he also says that for tamasic people, sharanagati or the self surrender, it is not at all possible. So you have to curb your laziness, you have to curb your inertness, dullness, you have to be active. And only once you become active, then you have to regulate your actions. First and foremost, control your prohibited actions, not doing from prohibited actions and doing from the righteous actions. Then slowly evolve yourselves doing the righteous actions without any desires, without expecting for fruits of action, or offering the fruits of action at the Lord's feet. Then only the Sharanagati is possible. So that means self surrender or Sharanagati is extremely difficult. Many times, probably when we read the life of many saints, and especially the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, the disciples of Holy Mother, disciples of any great saints, when we see, oh, like Sri Ramakrishna touched someone, then immediately he went to the deep meditation. For an example, Latu Maharaj, Swami Adbhutanandji, who was one of the monastic disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. Once at the evening time, just he was roaming in the Panchavati. Sri Ramakrishna asked, "What are you doing? You were supposed to meditate." This Latu Maharaj said, "Yes, sir, but I am unable to concentrate my mind. I am not feeling the joy in the meditation. That's the reason I'm just wandering." Sri Ramakrishna said, "What is it?" Then Sri Ram said, "Open your tongue." And Sri Ramakrishna wrote some mantra on his tongue and he said, "Now you go and sit and meditate." And he sat for meditation. In no time, his mind raised to the highest level and he meditated. He had a very deep meditation for few hours. When we read such stories, when we hear such stories, we feel, oh, Latu Maharaj, how blessed he is. Because Sri Ramakrishna's mere one touch, it helped him to raise his mind and he was able to sit for meditation. Oh, I would have been also Sri Ramakrishna's time. If I would have got a divine touch of Sri Ramakrishna, I would have got all these things. Yes, no doubt. But many of us, we don't understand. Living with Sri Ramakrishna is the most difficult, possible difficulty in our life. Why? Once Sri Ramakrishna said for Rakal, that is Swami Brahmanji, I am not able to see your face. Your face looks very black, not physical black, I mean. So I am not able to see your face. What did you do? Any mistake? Did you do any wrong thing? No, very well. Imagine now. Swami, the Trakal, as an young chap, he said, no, master, I didn't do any wrong thing. Sri Ramakrishna said, no, you might have done some wrong thing. I'm not able to see your face. Then he thought, but he said, no, I'm not able to remember, or I'm not able to recall. Shivam said, no, you should. There is some mistake. Then he thought, again he thought, and he said, oh, morning when I was chatting with my friends, for a joke's sake, I told one lie. Shivam said, yeah, that's it. That's why I'm not able to see your face. Even for joke's sake, you should never tell a lie. Then when Raja Maharaja Rakal said, okay, and he kept quiet, and he was so he had to be so vigilant. Sri Ramakrishna touched them. They had all different types of meditation. Their Kundalini was awakened. They had a darshan of chosen deity. All these things are fine. We all aspire for it. We would desire it, no doubt. But the other side, the story is Sri Ramakrishna told for Rakal, for joke's sake also, you should never tell a lie. And Sri Ramakrishna never allowed them to sleep even peacefully. Like 10, 11 p.m. till then, they used to do prayer, meditation, singing, and all. And they used to sleep in Dakshineshwar, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, early morning. Sri Ramakrishna used to awaken them, said, come on, how much you will sleep? Come on, get up, sit for meditation. Time is going away. When the death will come and embrace us, we don't know. So come on, sit for meditation. They never said, oh, Sri Ramakrishna, you are old man, you don't need sleep. But we are young chaps, we need sleep. They never allowed to sleep. I mean, they never were allowed to say all this. They were forced to sit for meditation for hours together. So staying with such people is also not that easy. Anyhow, so the state of surrender, it is extremely difficult. Though it looks, when Sri Ramakrishna takes or any God takes our complete, what do you say, responsibility, then we are free, then we can do whatever we want, however we want, we can think that, but it is not so. The stage of surrender is extremely difficult. Probably, but most of the time we are very calculative and very interesting and intelligent people. I mean, intelligently we take the, sometimes we say self effort is better, and sometimes we say self surrender is better. And Sri Ramakrishna tells a very funny story with this. When he was a Brahmin, so he had studied Vedas, he had studied Puranas, Upanishads, and he had a small land. In that land, with the difficulty, with the help of the workers, he had grown a lot of plants, flower plants, vegetables, fruits, all these things. It was very nicely well maintained, no doubt, and it was very profitable too. And many times, I mean, from morning to evening, he used to spend his time and used to labor along with the workers. Sometimes he used to scold workers, you have not watered, you have not given proper, I mean, fertilizers and all. So one fine day, a calf came. A calf entered his land, and it was eating some vegetables and fruits. So because of the, I mean, lot of labor he has done, as an emotive reaction, he was, as a reaction, I mean, he was very angry. Then he took a stick and he started, beating, chasing and beating this calf black and blue. That poor calf, he tried to go, but he didn't allow, because so much anger he had, and he was go on beating, he was thrashing. Unfortunately, the poor calf died. Now we know that in India, and especially with Hindu culture, cow is respected, and it is respected like a god. So many gods are staying in that. So Gohatya is one of the biggest sin, biggest evil in our Hindu society. Then now he has killed a calf, he has killed a Gomata. Then Papa Purusha came and said, look, I am going to take you, or I am going to enter you. Then this Brahmin fellow farmer said, why are you entering me? Because you have killed a calf, that's why the Papa Purusha, I am entering you. This fellow, he has studied Vedanta, he has studied Vedas and all. In Vedantic philosophy and in Vedas, every part of our body has been controlled, has been mastered by one of the demigod, including the nature forces also, like lightning, thunder, rain. All these things are taken care by one of the demigods, or angels, or celestial beings. So similarly, for an example, our eyes are taken care by uh, sun, and our mind is taken care by the moon god. Similarly, our hands are taken care by Indra itself. So he said, because he had studied Vedas and all, he said, look, I didn't kill, my hands killed it. So my hands are represented by, or it is ruled by Indra. So you should go and ask Indra. Indra has done that mistake. I have not done the mistake. He took very safe stand. Then Papa Purusha said, all right. And he went to the Indraloka, and Indra was surprised to see the Papa Purusha. He said, why have you come here? Then Papa Purusha said, look, the person has killed a calf. Then when I wish to enter, he said, the hands presiding deity is what Indra. So now the karma phala, the fruits of action has to go to Indra. I am only nimitta. Indra is the person who is the responsible for it. You go and embrace him. That's why I have come here to embrace you. Then Indra said, fine, wait for 5 minutes. Then Indra came in a disguised form on the earth. Just as a traveler, he was traveling, he was walking near the land of this farmer, Brahmin farmer. Then he entered. This Brahmin farmer, who are you? Why did you come? And just as a reactory mode, he was a reactive person always. So he asked, as if something will happen to his, crops or vegetables or flowers. Then he said, oh no, I'm a traveler. Just I was passing. I saw there's a beautiful vegetable garden, flower garden, and so many things. I was really mesmerized, astonished to see such a beautiful thing. I wanted to know who has done, how he has done, and all. That's why I came. So the the farmer's ego was blotted. Then he said, oh, come on, come on. Yes, I'm that owner and I'm the person. I'm looking after all these things. Then this fellow said, oh, you are a really great person. So nicely you are done. How you are done? Then he started explaining how I planted this particular plant, how I watered, and these workers, they never do properly. I have break my head. All his achievements he started boosting. Then fine. What about this plant? What about this flower plant? What about this vegetable? What about this fruit tree? And this farmer, his ego was blotted nicely. He was go on explaining. Then one by one, they came to the corner of the land. There is a dead body of the calf's dead body is there. Then he said, oh my, someone has killed. Who killed it? Now the farmer was not couldn't tell that I killed it, and at the same time he couldn't tell also the Indra has done, but just he kept silent. Then this fellow asked, all these things, the whole every part of the land, whatever the work has been, that's all done by you, and only this calf was killed by Indra, isn't? When this question was asked, then the farmer didn't have any answer. He had to keep quiet. Then the Indra, he appears in his real form and he calls Papa Purusha, come on, now it is a time to enter this fellow. Please enter. And Indra goes back to his Indraloka. So, like this, conveniently, we'll be switching over between self-effort and self-surrender or Ramiricha. Everything is God's will. Conveniently, we'll be switching over between the self-effort and the God's will. So we have to be very careful. We may bluff people, we may bluff society, but we can't bluff ourselves and we can't bluff the God. So this we have to be very careful. So when we are instinctive, when we are more tamasic and rajasic, everything is God's will. This stand, if you take, either will be hypocrite or hypocrisy will be there, or it will be just lip service. It is just mere saying, but really we don't mean. So better we should take the responsibility. As already said, we have got different stages of evolution in the spiritual life. So we should know what is our stage. Now, Sri Ramakrishna tells when we can say that we have surrendered completely to the God. Most of us devotees, we keep on saying that. Oh, I don't know Swamiji anything. It is all Sri Ramakrishna's will. It is all Rama's will. It is all Krishna's will. Whatever he wishes, everything happens. We keep on saying that, no doubt. We may mean it also, no doubt. But is it complete? What is the blue litmus test? Sri Ramakrishna has told a beautiful parable. This can be one of the blue litmus test for all of us to understand whether we have gone to that stage where to say that everything is God's will. So he tells Rame Richa. He's a farmer again. He's one more farmer here. So he's from a village farmer. He doesn't know any Vedas, Puranas, Upanishads, or whatever. But he was a sincere person. And he used to get up at the early morning, he used to finish his ablutions, and his chosen deity was Rama, and he used to go and stand in front of Rama's photo portrait, and he used to offer his prayers and light a lamp and offer a fruit, and he used to go back, go to his land, and morning to evening he used to work and come back again, fresh up and eat, and just try to spend his time in a contemplation of the Lord. But but whatever the work he used to do, he used to tell, by Rama's will, I am doing the tilling the land. By Rama's will, I am sowing this seed. By Rama's will, I got the crops. By Rama's will, I got the profit. By Rama's will, I incur the loss also, of course. So everywhere he is bringing Rama, though he is doing, but his body and mind is doing, but he knew very clearly everything is happening by God's will. And this fellow, once fine day, after his all work, he came back. He had finished his fresh up and evening supper finished. In front of the house, he was sitting, and he was sitting. Then a group of dacoits, thieves, came running with a heavy box. Basically, they had stolen some jewelries and all from the king's palace. It was quite heavy, and this fellow was quite a well built person. Then they thought, we got one bakra, one fellow, where we can take this person to carry it. Then they came, they never asked whether you are willing or not. They only threatened him, okay, take this box and follow us. And he didn't have any other go. He had to take the box, he had to carry on his head, and he had to, he had to walk along with the thieves. Then after some time, the soldiers chased them, and the thieves, because their hands were free, they were able to run. This fellow was not able to run to such far, to such same extent. As a result, he was caught, and thieves, of course, escaped. And now red-handedly has been caught. So now he is a thief, is also one of the thief. So he was supposed to be presented in front of the judge the next day in the court. So that day he was put in the prison. He was prisoned. This news, got spread in the village. The villagers knew that this fellow is how religious and spiritual, is not the person who does all these things. So the next day, when there was a hearing, the for and against, the soldiers said, "No, we caught red-handed. So he is a person who is really the thief, and we should give the punishment." But all the villagers, most of the villagers, they stood up and said, "No, we know him from his birth. He's a good-natured person. He's a spiritual-natured person. He's he's not of that nature. There may be some mistake, we don't know, but he's not that." Then finally, the judge listened the soldiers' thing, and he also listened the common people's arguments. And afterwards, he turned towards this person and he said, "What is your whether do you like to say anything?" He said, "From the God's will, Rama's will, I had finished my work. By Rama's will, I had finished my food. By Rama's will, I was sitting in front of my house. By Rama's will, some people came and they asked me to take a box. Afterwards, only I came to know what it is. But Rama's will, the soldiers came, and by Rama's will, I was caught. By Rama's will, I was put in the prison. And by Rama's will, I was presented in front of you. By Rama's will, I am talking with you." Now, see, in every sentence, in every action, is bringing Rama's will, Rama's will, Rama's will. So he has kept himself back, and Rama, his chosen deity, is in forefront. That's the one thing. But there is no reaction at all, which is very important. We have to observe here. He never thought, he never cried, he never lamented or commented, "Arey, I'm such a spiritual person and I depended myself on God completely. How God can do this? Why Rama didn't come to protect me? Because of my no mistake, I have to stay the night in the prison, which is very bad. People, how do they see towards me tomorrow? I do not know." So he never had any complaint. He was never morose, and he never lamented, and he never cried. And there was no mental reaction or emotional reaction in him. He was calm, quiet, and composed nature. Then when the judge heard all the arguments, and judge got convinced that this fellow cannot be the thief. There is some mistake, there is some misunderstanding maybe. Then he ordered the soldiers, "You try to find out. I don't think I don't think he's a thief. Probably he was forced to carry this box. As a result, you are thinking that he's one of the thief. No, and he was set free. And when he was set free, also he came. But before leaving, the judge asked, "What do you feel now?" You would have said, anyone now would have said, "Oh, thank you," and all we would have said, and at least now you came to know who am I, etc., etc. But he said, by Rama's will, with that same composed mind, with Rama's will, I have been set free, and with Rama's will, I am going now, saying that just he walked out of the court. Now you see, his ego is completely ripened. His ego is completely ripened, and his mind is very vigilant, and so he has completely surrendered himself at the will of the Rama or to the Rama. So he doesn't have any his individual will, but such type of person can say that everything happens, everything occurs from the God's will. Till then, we don't have a license to say that everything happens from the God's will. Why? If we say that, we are not doing the justice. That's what, according to my understanding. Why? Because we have got our own unripened ego. We have got resistance. We have got a block to allow the God's grace or to allow the God's happening. We resist ourselves by thinking, I can do this, I cannot do this, I want this, I don't want this, I should I should want this, I should not want this, or whatever. Because we are blocking the divine will because of our individual strong unripened ego or will. Because of that, so we cannot tell that everything is God's will. So to dissolve this ripened ego and converting to the from unripened ego to the ripened ego, dissolving this individual self to the with the cosmic self, the surrender is one of the best means or the best path, but it is extremely difficult. But at the same time, Sri Ramakrishna says that yes, if you can practice this self surrender is the greater thing, but it is extremely difficult. And he explains what is the difference between the self effort and the self surrender. Sri Ramakrishna beautifully, all the greatest philosophical concepts, he explains in a simple story or anecdote. That is the greatness and uniqueness of Sri Ramakrishna's teaching. He says, like a father was carrying, he was walking with his two children. The younger ones he was carrying on in his arms. So the elder ones, he has allowed him to walk. The elder ones, the elder child, he's holding the father's hand, and the younger ones is safe at the father's arms. Then, along with the father, the two children are also going. Then suddenly they saw a kite. Kite was flying in the sky. Imagine when we are children, if we see the kite, we'll feel happy, would have jumped with the joy. So similarly, when the kite was flying on the sky, the two children also were very happy. The younger child who was in the lap of the father, he was very happy, and he started clapping, saying that, "Oh father, please look, there's a beautiful kite," and he started clapping. Yes, no problem. The elder child who was holding the father's hand, he also left the hand and he also started clapping. Yes, beautiful kite, beautiful kite, beautiful kite, beautiful kite. But as a result, just they were going in the very narrow lane. As a result, the child got slipped and it fell down. So Sri Ramakrishna, this is the limitation of the self-effort, and this is the greatness of the self-surrender. Because the younger child, he was in the lap of the father, or he was in the arms of the father. So even though he was, clapping, he was secure. He didn't fall down. But the other guy who was the child who was holding the father's hand, who was holding the father, the moment he left, he fell down. So if we are holding the God, anytime we can fall. But if God holds us, then there is no chance of falling. That's where all our sadhana is. What we should see, that God should hold us. Then you say, then is it required, Swamiji? God should hold us because He's the creator, He's the sustainer, He's the dissolver, He's the Sushtikarta, Palanakarta, Pralayakarta, and He's all in all. He knows everything. Is it we request Him just like anyone? He should hold us all the time, isn't it? The question may come, obviously. Yes, of course, it should come. But God says that yes, but I will allow them. If you wish to hold, if you wish that I should hold you, definitely I will hold. Otherwise, no, I will take care of myself if you want. Then I will respect everyone's wish and I will allow them. That's what God says. To make this point clear, Sri Ramakrishna tells there are two types of surrendering. One is Markata Riti Sharanagati. Markata Ritya Sharanagati. The other is Marjala Ritya Sharanagati. Markata means monkey. So monkey type surrender and the cat type surrender. Looks. This is Sri Ramakrishna is telling. What is the difference here? Now, if you see a monkey, the mother monkey and the small monkey is always holding the mother's monkey actually, and the monkey is jumping from one branch of the tree to other along with the baby. So most of the time, if you see, or even every time, the baby is holding the mother. So if the baby leaves mother, there is always chance of falling. There is a risk of falling. This is what uh, monkey type of surrender. So when we say that, okay, because oh, that I want God's grace, I want God's love, etc., we keep on doing some japa, prayer, meditation, and vratas, and resolving. So many meditations I do, so many days I fasting I do, so that God's grace should be there. So that is what this is a monkey type of surrender. So I will hold on to God, so God should protect me. I will hold to God, and God should protect me. So still my individual ego is there very distinctively. Self-effort is there, very good. No doubt it is appreciable, but still individual ego is very distinct here. It is not completely dissolved. Now, other type of surrender, that is what the cat type of surrender. Now, if you see cat and kitten, if you very carefully observe, the cat places their baby's kitten in particular place. And when there is a problem, when the kitten feels that there is a problem, kitten starts making a sound, meow, meow, meow. Then cat comes, the mother cat comes and protects the kitten by replacing them differently, by replacing them in a safe place. And if you see very interestingly, cat doesn't allow the kitten to stay in one place only. Now and then cat changes the place of the kitten because there can be any problem, people can come and take away, or some animals can come and eat away. Even in the houses or in the forest, it is a biological instinct in them. The cats always change the place of the kitten. But kitten, even when there's a problem, it is not trying to safeguard themselves. Instead of that, it is calling for mother, and mother is coming and protecting. This is what called Marjala Ritya Sharanagati. So Sri Ramakrishna says that. That means here the devotee is completely surrendered on the God. Whether there is a good or bad, right or wrong, whether there is a problem and whether there is a security, all time he or she is completely depending on God. This is what the Marjala Ritya Sharanagati, that is a kitten surrender. So we should start from the monkey type of surrender and we should end with the cat type of surrender. Means individually at the beginning, yes, we need self effort, we have to put self effort. At the same time, we should hold on to the God also. Then slowly, slowly, when our ego gets ripened, when our individual ego is merged with the supreme ego, then what happens? Only God alone stays. God's will alone prevails. That's what we can see in the life of Girish Chandra Ghosh. When Sri Ramakrishna said, Girish, can you just meditate for morning, maybe half an hour, and evening half an hour? That is enough for you. So Sri Ramakrishna is giving an advice. But Girish was very sincere and straightforward. In the midst of people, this conversation is happening, that we should keep it in a mind. We would have said, at least for the decency sake and for the name sake, we would have said, okay. But Girish said, no, I cannot say because I'm a drunkard person, you know that. I don't know in what state I will be. I cannot promise because once I promise, then I have to maintain the words. Then Sri Ramakrishna thinks and says, okay, at least one time, you do. Girish says, no, that also I cannot promise. Then he said, okay, at least in morning from morning to night, at some point of time you think of God. That is enough. So that much leagueness Sri Ramakrishna is giving to Girish, you imagine. Girish thought and said, no, that also I cannot promise. Because I don't know what stage, what time, how much I'll be drinking, and how much I'll be intoxicated, in what state I'll be there. I cannot promise. If I promise, I have to do it. It is not possible. Then Shyamshna thinks and says, okay, then you give me all your responsibility to me. I will take it. Girish said, oh, he thought it's a jackpot, it's a lottery. He said, okay, okay, please take my responsibility and I will give away, and you take care of my responsibility. Sri Ramakrishna says, are you sure? Are you ready to give your responsibility to me completely? No 50-50? Girish said, yes, please. It is a, I mean, I have nothing to do, isn't it? Yes, you not to do any japa, meditation, prayer, nothing. You give responsibility. I will take care of yours. I will take care of you. Girish said, granted, please take immediately. And Sri Ramakrishna said, well, I have accepted it. That's fine. After some time, on the same day or some other day, Girish said, I would like to do this, or I don't want to do this. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, where is I don't want or I want? You have given all the responsibility to me. So whatever I say, you should do it. Whatever I wish, you should do it. You don't have any wish now. You should not have any wish. How can you say that when you have given your responsibility to me? Then Girish understood the difficulty of this giving responsibility to Sri Ramakrishna. Then slowly, slowly, Girish says that now I was forced to become good. I was directed by Sri Ramakrishna always what to do and what not to do. So I was forced to become good. I was forced to leave all my bad habits. I was forced to live in a particular way, in a particular thing. Why? Because Sri Ramakrishna has taken the responsibility. Sri Ramakrishna is leading him now. So Girish has lost his individuality. Sri Ramakrishna is leading him. So at some point of time, Girish says that though it is a wonderful state, but it is very difficult. When God takes all complete responsibility, our individuality will go away. But that state, it is not possible for every one of us to experience and to bear that. We have to be really, I mean, ready for that. So it is not that God comes and takes our responsibility, everything will be better, everything will be nice. Fine, no doubt. But it is not that easy. We can stay in such a state. For that, we need a mental preparation. For that, we need a spiritual preparation. For that, we need an intellectual preparation. For that, we need to prepare our mind and attitudes. We have to develop right attitude. So, self effort and self surrender, we attach to go hand in hand at the beginning. At some point of time, we will understand that the limitations of the self effort we understand, and naturally we surrender at the feet of the Lord. Then that is right. And again, for that beautiful story, Sri Ramakrishna tells. One bird was sitting on a steamer and it dozed off. The steamer left the port and it has traveled quite few miles now. Then the bird got awakened. The bird got up. Then he saw it is in the midst of the sea. Then bird said, "Oh, what happened? Oh." Then it flew in the right, I mean the east direction. It flew for quite a long distance, but it didn't see any bank, any land. Then it came back and sat on the steamer again, because it was tired and the bird took some rest. Then again, he thought probably I went in a wrong direction. Okay, I will go in the opposite direction. And it went in the west direction. It flew. No use. Again, it came back and it rested on the steamer. And it went in a north direction, came back. South, came back. Then the bird thought, whatever I say, probably it is beyond my limit. Now I can't go. Wherever steamer takes, I have to go. So the bird stayed in that. After some time, after a day or two, then the steamer went to the nearby port. Then the bird got a land and the bird flew. And afterwards, it joined its own group or species. So this is what Sri Ramakrishna says that. So once we understand our limitations of our senses, mind, intellect, and Purusha Prayatna, self-effort, then only the real surrender comes. So to understand our that limitations, we have to give our best. We have to do our best. Okay, this is what possible for me. More than this, it is not possible. So I could do whatever I have done, whatever my role is supposed to do, my part I am supposed to do, I have done. Oh my God, please take care of me, or please rest of the things you have to take care. So when we say that, then only real surrender is possible. Till then we have to take effort. But of course, God's will, God's grace, all these things are cannot be denied. Definitely, it all helps us. So self-effort and self-surrender both should go hand in hand in the beginning. Then slowly, slowly, when we get ripened, self-surrender alone prevails. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.